Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart. In this episode, I have a 2025 and up Yamaha YZF-R3 in the shop with me. The installation I'll be demonstrating today is the conversion of the DRL units up front here to signal and DRL function via the use of the TST Industries DRL signal harness. These are plug and play components that go below this shroud and the corresponding shroud on the other side of the bike. They are pretty much toolless. The only tool we'll be using is a 4mm Allen to take out some of the fasteners here. The installation is very simple. What's provided in the kit is one per side. You get two harnesses, one for this side, one for the right. You have some cable management components and a posi-tap connector to make connection for the signaling wire. Now, little caveat, this is a US model. Somewhere else in the world, you may have a slightly different connector underneath this shroud. I will point that out to you. Some of the markets around the world come with a 2-conductor connector. In the US and American markets, we have a 3-conductor connector. So I will go through that for you and we'll keep it simple and keep it flowing. Let's get started by grabbing some tools and removing some of the components here so we could gain access underneath. I've chosen an approach where I will be removing both right and left shrouds immediately in the beginning. For that, we will start by pulling out these two fasteners on each side. They require a 4mm Allen tool. At this point, I will be removing 3 push fasteners from this panel and then 3 from the other side as well. One's here, and we have one on the inside here against the fork leg. To remove these, you simply push in the middle. That unlocks it. Withdraw that, and then I like to ready them for reinsertion later by popping the top out of the center. Okay, all the fasteners have been taken out. There is one additional captive fastener here. If you look at the center line of your dash, where these two shrouds meet together and overlap, there is a friction fastener, which is a peg with a dart clip that fits into a rubber grommet. So the right side shroud will need to be pulled up while the left side gets pushed down. And that will clear that captive fastener. So now essentially we have unfastened both sides. We just have interference clipping geometry that clips these panels into these fairings. So we'll just lightly pry up while pulling backwards on this panel, slide it back, and that allows it to unclip. Okay, now here we do have 2 connections. One is for our USB power supply here, and one is for the left signal. We will be removing those connectors. I'm going to start with the USB power supply. It does have a tab that you press down and that unlocks it for you. On this connection here, I'm actually going to rotate it and gently pull until the entire set of connectors comes off. We will need access to this female connector later, so better just take it off now. This tab here unlocks the connection for the signaling equipment, and that comes off. Now in a little bit, I will be doing that same procedure on the other side. It is pretty much the same, except you only have the signal on that side, so I'll do it free of commentary. Here I just wanted to talk briefly about the different connectors that are seen on the signal connection on this bike around the world. Here in the Americas, we have a running light enabled signal lamp on these units, which means in regular running mode without signaling engaged, that signal lamp will be illuminated at a lower intensity than signaling, and then when you initiate your signal lamp, it'll then flash at a higher intensity. For this purpose, you need 3 wires. In some other markets, like Europe, for instance, you only have 2 wires and a smaller connector. It looks similar to this, but it only has 2 positions. For reasons unknown to us here, Yamaha decided to have only signaling function, no running light function in those markets. So we're still good for this installation. You just need to know which wire to connect to. In Europe and other markets that have only 2 wires, it'll be the one that is not black. Here in the Americas, we are going to be connecting to the yellow with red on this side and yellow with green on the other side. All right, let me take off the shroud on this side using the same methods as I just portrayed. And on this side, we only require the removal of the signal. So now I will start installing our DRL signal conversion harness. You need to find this connector here and remove it. Basically have this end on this wire going into a connector like this, and that locks together like so. There is a little tab here that needs to be pulled this way in this orientation, so downward, and that will permit this inner connector to come out just like this. I'm going to perform this procedure on this connector. With my thumbnail, I'm feeling that tab, pushing it down, and this comes off. Nice and easy. So I'll just replace the connectors here from our harness in the logical fashion, like so. Now we have restored the running light function into the DRL headlamp, and we need to do something about connecting our signal lead. Without this connected to the bike, you will not actually flash those signals in the DRL. So we'll grab one of the posi-tap connectors that we've provided you with. We'll remove the larger end cap by unscrewing it. That will expose a slit in the threaded portion that will need to go around the wire that we are trying to connect into. Like I mentioned before, that wire is yellow with a red trace. Make sure that you capture only one wire like that. Now we will need to thread on the body of the connector. As you can see here, there's a little piercing element at the tip of this component. The idea is, as you thread it on against the insulation of the wire that you're connecting into, that piercing element penetrates through the shielding, through the insulation, makes contact with the copper, and now you have a connection. Now I'll remove the smaller diameter cap by unscrewing it. Have to be careful about these. I have had these drop out of my hand into the bike, and then it's very difficult to find them, so just be careful there. We'll take this wire that we need to make a connection from our harness into the bike's harness with, pass it through the non-threaded end of our cap here, have it protrude out of the threaded end, and now while maintaining positive pressure on that wire towards the inside of the connector, I will start threading it up, and when properly installed here, there will be a pinch force against the conductors from the inside of the connector here and against the wire that was sticking out from there. And now we have a connection. Give it a little tug test. Okay. So now I'm going to quickly test this. Power on. We have running light is working. I initiate the signal, and it does in fact flash with the signaling. So now on this side, we do have a little bulk up of wiring. Your kit does arrive with 2 cable ties. Before putting the cable ties on, I like to simulate how everything's going to hang. I do like to put the original signal connector into its proper location. Let's see what we have to do here. So I like this orientation of my wiring stack up. I will put my cable tie on here, and then I will drop this below the connector for the USB power supply, and on the outboard side of the connector for the signaling equipment here. Once I plug in my signal, that will keep these wires from coming out inboard of the bike. Let's go ahead and trim off the excess. Okay, that's looking good here. I have my wiring positioning just how I like it. So now I am going to reinstall these components here, plug in my signal. Now working on the left shroud, this is the receiving end of that peg and rubber grommet connection. So this should be the first one to be reinstalled because it does need to go on the bottom. I'll just make sure my wiring distribution is proper so that we don't end up with these wires inboard around the steering components. You want to have them far away from that. Okay, things are looking good. Now, in this configuration here, where it's still aft of where it rests when locked in, there's a larger window here, larger here, larger here. That's where those clips will penetrate down, and then you slide it forward. Now that's looking good here. Making sure that I am still aligned with my screw holes. There is geometry here that may potentially go under another piece of geometry from this stack up of brackets and fairing. So make sure that this rests actually on top. You'll know if you're presented with the symptom where your screw holes don't line up and this is being forced back. This is probably where it's coming from. You'll have to back it up and get it up on top. All right, let me do the wiring on the other side. So on this side, we have the yellow wire with the green trace. That is what we're connecting into. I just tested the function, looks good to go. So now we have to go for finalization here. All right, now I'll just go in the reverse order of disassembly of all the fasteners. I'm going to start with that center friction fastener. For that, I like to hold the left-hand side shroud from the bottom so that it doesn't deflect, and then push on the top. All right, and that'll do it, guys. Let's power this thing up and give it one more test. We have running light from the DRL lamps. Signal's about to go on. As you can see, now they're firing in unison. Other sides functioning properly as well. So, this took about 10 to 15 minutes with the use of very basic tools. So it is a really simple one. I hope you enjoyed it. If If you did, check out tstindustries.com. We have these parts ready to go, ready to ship to you, along with other parts that we have for this bike and other bikes you may have in your stable. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.